Now, I am this first topic I'm talking about, this first concept I want to discuss. This is the third time I'm going to be talking about it in the course of this lecture. And why is it happening that way? Because it's actually very, very important. Like, very, very important. To be a data analyst, to understand data, you need to understand what we refer to as levels of measurement. Very, very important. And that is why I am talking about this again. So please, please, I want to discuss these levels of measurement like I am teaching primary 3 children. That is how I want to talk about it now. Like I'm teaching grade 3, stage 3, primary 3, year 3, whatever way. That is how I want to talk about it. So please try and grasp it as much as possible. I will use simple examples and simple illustrations because I want you to understand it. Once you understand it, the next thing, when we get to Excel, when we get to the next other testing of hypothesis, it is going to be very easy for you. Please try and grab it as much as possible. Now, levels of measurement. Levels of measurement is fundamental concept in statistical analysis. Like, it helps us to identify the kind of analysis that can be performed on a specific variable, and that's why it's very important. So if you collect data, if you collect the data, the type of data you collect will also determine the kind of analysis you can perform on that particular data. So level of measurement helps us to identify the kind of analysis we are going to perform. Now, generally speaking, there are four main levels of measurement. We have the nominal, the ordinal, the interval, and the ratio. Now, I want to break them down. I want to break them down. I have done this before, but I don't mind doing it again so that the next order, so that it's going to be an easy flow for us as we continue in the course of the lesson. So, now, nominal. In data analysis, nominal is the lowest. So nominal is just used to either label or categorize. Take note, is used to what? Label or categorize. So there is nothing like um it has a higher value, or there is no order when it comes to nominal. There is no ranking when it comes to nominal. So in nominal, it is more like all the values are actually the same, but we need to differentiate them. And that's an example. That's the example you are seeing there. Like you want to talk about different region: southwest, southeast, south south, middle belt, or north central. Although they're agitating that they don't want to be called north central, they want to be called middle belt now, whatever it is, or northeast, northwest. You understand what I'm saying? Those one you cannot say that, and this one is bigger than that one is bigger than. No, there is no order. Talk of gender too, there is no order. Talk of color, there is no order. Talk of type of fruit, you cannot say there is an order. So you can think of nominal like sorting things, like you want to regroup things into different orders. Think of nominal that way. For example, now if you are doing a survey, maybe you want to ask people about their favorite food. Or let's go international now. You want to ask people about their favorite cuisine. You can say, okay, maybe you like Chinese cuisines, Italian cuisine, or you want Mexican or Indian spicy food. That is just nominal. You are not saying this one is greater than the other one is bigger than this. So think nominal in that way. Numbers assigned to categories are just labels and they do not imply an order. I think the last time I discussed this, I used football numbers. Number one does not mean that is the least among all the footballer. And number 99 does not mean that is the strongest or the best player in the team. It's just for them to be able to identify, just a label. That is nominal. Now, the next one is ordinal. Like the word ordinal, that is an order. You can see now, order is now coming in into the picture. So this ordinal scale, help us to what? Categorize variable, and you can sort them in meaningful order. You can sort them from highest to lowest. You can see that we have stepped up the scale of measurement now, the level of measurement. So data at this level can be ranked or order, but the interval between ranks are not equal or meaningful. Take note of that. You don't know how far they are from each other. You cannot really concretize the distance between them, but you know that there is an order. So the manner in which numbers are assigned to these categories is therefore very important, since they imply meaningful order. So let me give another illustration. When you are talking about satisfactory rating, like very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, very dissatisfied, you can see we'll be using this one very well. That is and what? That is ordinal, because there's actually ranking, but then you cannot determine the difference in the ranking. You can also think of maybe level of education, no education, primary education, secondary education, tertiary education. You are not sure of the value of how different they are, but you know that there is an order. One is higher than the other. Then you can think of grades too. Yes, in school, you can think of grade A, B, C, D, F. That's grade. Now, I'll use grade in the next example for us to be able to differentiate between grade as ordinal. Then when we get to the next level, we'll see how the score is used to determine the grade. So when you, let's give another instance. Maybe you line up students based on their height. You know who is taller or shorter, but you don't know the exact height difference. That is what? Ordinal. The same thing for those of us who are in the beauty world. Beauty contest. Contestant A can rank first, contestant B can rank second, contestant C can rank third, but you don't know the ratings. You don't know how beautiful or how smart or how modeling contestant A is from contestant B. So that is that about it. So the ranking just indicates the order of their performance, but you don't tell how much better contestant A was compared to what? Contestant B. So that is what? That is ordinal. Now the next one we are going to is the word interval scale. Now the interval scale, you can talk about ordered with equal interval. So now the interval scale has the ability to measure the precise distance between each of the categories. Now we can now bring in scores. For example, a student got A and another student got C. If they use only grade, you cannot determine how far they are from each other. But if you now use score, grade in that instance is ordinal, but score is what? Interval. So if you now use the score of the students, for example, the one that got A scored 95, the one that got C scored 65. So you can now determine the difference between the two of them. That is interval. Now another thing you can talk of interval is interval lacks absolute zero. That is even not significant in this situation now. That's not even significant in this situation, because the last level of measurement, that's ratio now, does not really have too much difference between them. But it's okay to differentiate between them. For those of us that are still doing our masters, they might ask all this kind of question in statistics exam. Whatever course you are doing, once you are doing your PGD or masters, you surely do statistics. Maybe I'm not sure of people in the arts. Maybe I'm not sure of people in the art, but I'm very certain if you're in any of the social science, education science, or whatever, you definitely do statistics. And these are the things they will ask you question about in your exam. So interval scale is ranking, but you can be able to measure the precise distance between them. So the only difference is that it lacks true 0 point. That is, it does not mean nothing. Like you cannot say that nothing exists in it. So temperature, for example, the difference between 20 and 30 is the same as difference between 30 and 40. So you cannot determine the 0 point. IQ score to the same thing. Intervals are equal, but there is no zero IQ to indicate a total absence of intelligence. For those of us who are into science, we understand what I mean when we say that it does not have absolute 0 points, like temperature the 0 point. If temperature is 0 degrees, does not mean there is no amount of heat in that situation. There's an amount of heat, but it's very low. So that's the point. So now the last one is the ratio. This is the highest level of measurement in statistical analysis. It has all the features of all that measurement. It possesses the feature of nominal, ordinal, and interval. But the difference between ratio and interval is that ratio has 0 point. But in practical terms, there's no significant difference between ratio and interval scale. So now, understanding this will help us to know how we can use statistical tools. So now, let me give us a practical example. If you are studying student performance and you want to collect data, if you collect school name, that's nominal. If you collect grades, that's ordinal. But if you collect test scores, that is what? Interval. If you now collect student study hours, that is what? Ratio. Because a student may decide that I don't want to study, so can have 0 hours. But in a true school, the fact that a child has attendance, you cannot give the child 0. I don't know if we have a school where they'll give a child 0. If a child comes to school, that attendance alone is a mark. So a child should not have 0. That is what? Interval. But a child can think that I don't even read at all. So that study hours can be 0. So that is how we can look at it. So here is a table to help us understand um, how these levels of measurement looks like. So we have the nominal, ordinal, interval. The nominal all of them can be categorized, but nominal cannot be ordered. Ordinal orders can be categorized. Nominal does not have equal interval. Ordinal also does not have equal interval. Then for true zero, it is only ratio that has true zero. Please, I need you to confirm to me that what I've said so far made an amount of sense. And if anyone asks question as regards that,
Yes, it
please
does.
let us know.
It
Okay.
does.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Okay, I appreciate you all. So now we can now move forward to the real deal, and that is carrying out practicals. Is somebody trying to raise hand for a question or not? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Ferry.
Okay, thank you.
Um, so I just have a question. When we take marital status,
Okay.
would that best work for nominal
Yes.
or ordinal?
It's best for nominal, because if you want to ordinal
Okay.
simply means you are saying that if someone is single. Okay, you want to give a rank.
Yes.
If you decide you want to give a rank, you can say it is ordinal. But if you decide that you just want to categorize them only, then you can leave it at nominal. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. I also have a question, please.
Okay, please ask.
Yeah, you are doing a good job, Mr. Eniola.
Thank you very much. I
I
appreciate.
want to know what if you are dealing with probabilistic research? That's the probability. The probability of whether yes or no, the probability of the positive or negative. If it is probability, where
Okay.
does that go? Is that ordinal or
Now when you talk about probability, you're already bringing in statistical tool. If I will
okay?
get your question right, maybe we are thinking, maybe let's say for example now, what is the probability that a pregnant woman will give birth to a male or a female? You are
Exactly.
right?
Yes, exactly.
Good. So in that situation,
If either, sorry, if either the dependent or the independent variable are in probability, probability of just like the example you have given,
okay,
probability of a pregnant woman giving birth to a male or a female based on some observed variables or whatever.
okay. So
What
now,
kind of scale do you use?
good, still very good. The variable you want to find probability on will also fall within either nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio. Let me give an instance. If we are certain that it is either male or female for a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
So the probability
Yeah.
of that variable will form under nominal scale, because there can be only two categories in this situation. And
Okay.
except
Okay.
you can now order it as a man, if you decide, maybe let me take for example my wife now. My wife is expected, my wife want to give birth. By the way, me, I have hang boots, I have left it for young men. I don't know if Mr. Uche is there. I've left it for all those people. Me, I have hung my boots. So now, if you are expecting a child from your wife and you don't care,
Mm.
you don't care about the sex. Do you get my point now? All you just want is a child. Then you can say it is
Okay.
nominal. I don't know if you get my point now.
All right.
But then if you
Okay.
are now a typical African man who says that female male is greater than female, a typical African man
Uh,
who says that male is greater than female, maybe you are now moving from the level of nominal to ordinal by doing what? By ordering male and female, saying that male is higher than female. You have now moving to level of what? Ordinal. But if you are
no.
you are like me, who wants to give birth as God wants, so you leave it as nominal. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
I get it perfectly. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. So if there are no other question,
Very,
let's.
very clear. Thank you so much.
I didn't get you.
I say it's very, very clear and explainable.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for that understand. Okay, so now we now move on to the next step. I think I'm going to share my full screen now because this time around we just want to start the real practical. So if you, like I said, if you have if you have all of us have access to the what's it called now, to the slide. So please let's try as much as possible to utilize it in our personal study time. So I'm going to just bring in the, I'll bring in
That's
the,
all. You. Mr. Femi.
yes,
Sorry, sir. The table you just showed us last is
yes.
not in the file, the slides. No.
I just included it. I will update it. Miss Favor, I appreciate your passion. You are encouraging me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I'll stop this slide and reshare my whole screen so that I'll bring in the SPSS. Then we'll start doing our analysis, just following the slide one after the other. Okay, so let me share my complete screen now. In a moment, please. Entire screen. So please let me confirm. Once you can see my entire screen, just help me confirm. Okay, thank you very much. So what I'm going to do now is I want to open um, the questionnaire I gave to us. The questionnaire I gave to us. As many that were able to do the assignment, thank you very much. And as many who are here to do the assignment, I really appreciate the fact that a lot of people will reach out to me and explain to me that, okay, this is why I've not been able to complete my assignment. It gladdens my heart and it encourages me to show that we indeed have passion for learning. And a lot of people will tell me, okay, I've done it, this is my challenge, and I'm able to put a lot of people through. So thank you for this approach to to this training. It's really encouraging me. I really appreciate you all. Please, let's keep it up. Let's keep it up so that all of us will enjoy the benefit of this training together. If you have not joined us to be as passionate as many other people, please try as much as possible to join us. It's very, very important. Me too. In fact, I am enjoying the training too because I am I thought I knew a lot, but since this training started with my research, I realized that there are still many more things to know. And like I said before, please, in this field, this tech world, overtaking is allowed. Maybe one day one of you will organize seminar that I will have to attend because you have overtaken me. Please, overtaking is allowed. Don't relax. Keep studying. Keep knowing more. It is those who know version 2025 that are updated. Oh, please, is allowed. So now let me move on to the this is the this is the data I gave to Ross as our assignment. So what I have done is I have imputed about 200 cases. What do I mean by 200 cases? You see that single what's it called now? That single questionnaire. If I fill that single questionnaire, the whole question answered will be under my ID. So that is one case. That is one case. So I have filled about 200 cases in the questionnaire. Now, this is the data view for the questionnaire I gave to us. So the question they were asking me is, how did I impute the data? So it's very simple. So remember I mentioned that each of these column that I highlighted is a variable, and this is a column. Then each of these row is a case. So like case is an individual that if someone filled the whole questionnaire, that single person is considered a case. So each of the question is considered a variable. So I have filled up to 200. So now if I need to fill the 201, what I need to do just to come here, I'll just be entering the data. Since it has been coded, I know that gender for female it is 1. So I'll just type my 1 and put tab. The age, let's say 45, tab. The educational level, let's say is tertiary, I put 3. The business years, let's say it falls around 2. The sales trend, so you just be entering whatever the person ticked. So that is how you enter the data. So once you enter for one questionnaire, settled, then you pick another questionnaire, you enter for it again, settled, you pick another questionnaire, you enter it again. So that is how you can impute the data. Please confirm if I have answered that question. I think it's Mr. Olakunle that asked that question.
Thank you, sir. Answer.
Okay, Mr.
My
Adewale
name is
Paul.
Adewale.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yes.
However, times have changed. You can't be stressing yourself like that again now when you have Google Form, and that is why Excel class is very important. With Google Form, you can actually collect all this data, code it, and you just import it to SPSS. All you need to do is just to complete the coding by going to the variable and assigning the different values. Everything will just be entered for you. Like the one I just showed you, is not like I entered them. No, I didn't enter them. I just copied them from Excel and put it in SPSS, and everything is there for me. So during our Excel class, we'll explore that avenue. Please give me thumbs up if you are comfortable, and we can continue with that. Okay, thank you. Thank you. But by the way, because sorry I had to do this to us. You know, we are still in the learning mode. I'm going to put us to work. The data I'm going to give to us, please, we will enter it. Let's stretch our hand on the keyboard. We will enter it. When we get to Excel, we will learn how to use the direct method. But for this one, we are going to enter data in the next task I am going to give to us. You are not seeing my screen. Please refresh your it's not I'm not showing the SPSS yet anyway. So let me put in the SPSS. Maybe you will be able to see it now. So I hope you can see the SPSS now. So I'm deleting the data I just entered. I'm deleting it because um okay, so I've deleted the data I just entered. I can just click this, I'll just click clear. So I have deleted the data I just entered so that it will be easy for us to carry out all the things we need to do. So you can see this first case, the gender is 1, the age is 50, educational level 3, business years 1, sales strength 2, 3, and so on and so forth like that. So now let's start to do our analysis. So let's start our analysis. Oh, Mr. Olushino couldn't join us. Okay, maybe you the video, maybe it's network from your end, since a lot of people are complaining that network is bad. So it could be network from your end. So keep trying so that we can have access to it. Is anybody asking question yet?
Yes, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay, quickly.
Okay, sir. You said we should impute in the like in the data view that we should impute.
Mm-hmm.
So, sir, I was thinking to impute all those 200 things, won't it take our time now
I'm not
since it's
giving
a
you
constrained
200.
class?
I'm not giving you 200, and I'm not going to give you this data. The data we are using is our own data. We filled a form, pre-training form. That is data we are going to analyze with. We've done
Okay.
first test, we have done second test. We are also going to use those tests to do analysis. So I'm not generating data from outside. It is our own data we are going to analyze, and we will derive insight, we'll take decision, and you'll be glad you did at the end of the day. So we are just, I'm leaving it at 32, or I'll even reduce it. Okay, I think I left it at 32. So that's what we're doing. Have I cleared your fear?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we can move on now. Okay, so now let's start our analysis. So the first thing we are going to do is frequency tables. In fact, I have supported people in their project up to master's level, such that it is only frequency table they use to take to analyze, to answer their research question. Yes, I have supported people, in fact, up to master level, and the only thing they used was just frequency table. So frequency table or descriptive statistics is also a very valuable statistical method. Although if you meet some strict supervisors, they consider it as too low, and they will always tell you that no, this is too low for me. You have to look at something bigger, maybe a t-test, a chi-square, ANOVA. Some will even force you to do regression and things like that. Anyway, it depends on the project you're working on. But whatever project you're working on, they can always find a way around it to tailor your research question and hypothesis towards that area where you are going to use a very strong statistical tool. But like I said, frequency table and descriptive statistic is still valid for many other people. Now, if you want to do your analysis, it's very straightforward. Just come to your to the bar here. You can see file, edit, view, data, transform. I can see analyze. That is where you do your analysis. So now, what we are looking out for now is frequency table. Now, whatever I'm going to do tonight is also part of what you are going to do in your in this week assign or in today's assignment. So we come here, we do analyze. So you go to descriptive statistics. You can see report here. You can see descriptive statistics here. Now, there are a lot of statistical tools here, like I said. A lot of you will have to still have to go and do a lot of research on how to apply this statistical tool. But for the purpose of these courses, I have identified the one I feel I have encountered in many of the projects that I've supported, and the ones I feel that you really need for day-to-day activities. When you encounter special one that you might have to use, this basic understanding, you can easily just maybe watch one or two YouTube videos and you will understand, or even read an article about it, and you are going to understand with this basic understanding that we are grabbing from this learning. So we'll just go to descriptive statistics, as we can see. Then you move on to frequencies. So frequencies. So it's only frequencies that we want to talk about. So usually, I think, okay, I didn't talk about demographic data. Usually we do frequency a lot for demographic data. Like demographic data includes data like the educational level, socioeconomic status, gender, maybe type of school and things like that, or state, region. Those are data that has to do with demography. That's what we refer to as demographic data. So in this situation, I can do frequency count for educational level. I can do frequency. Okay, let me go back quickly. So let's say these are all the variables I have here. Please, I need to be sure we are still seeing my screen. I hope we are all seeing my screen. Please, let me be sure we are seeing my screen. Okay, fine. So this is at the frequency table. So you can come here and say, I want to do frequency count for educational level. You click on educational level, you click this arrow here to insert it in the variable. So you click it. Then you can say you want to do frequency count for gender. You click on gender, you see this arrow here, you insert it, then that's entered. So basically that is, so you have tick here that it should display frequency tables. So since you have clicked here that it should display frequency table, so you can just click OK. There are some things here like statistics, charts, format style, bootstrap. So all those ones are just the way you want it to presented. This statistics is you are going forward. I don't want to go forward yet because we are still going to talk about it under descriptive statistics. So let's just leave it at frequency table since that is what we're looking at. So you click OK. Remember I said there is the output window that we show. So as soon as I click OK, we are going to see the output window and I'll show us what the output window is saying. So OK. So this is the output window. You can see it has shown the frequency table. So it's showing um, the total number of cases valid 200. There are no missing cases. So missing is 0. You can see n, that's total number of cases 200, no missing. Then this is the frequency table. Now the frequency table here is this. Educational level. What is the highest level of education you attended? Now you can see this education underscore level, that is the okay, this is it. Now this is the data name. The description is the question you ask, what is the highest education? So that's why it's having data name will come first, then the description will follow. And that's why when I was explaining to us, I told us it's okay to just write question 1. So if we are reading q, if we have written q1, it will just, so q1, it will now tell you what is the highest level of education you attended. So you can see here we have the frequency, we have the percentage, we have the valid frequency, and we also have the cumulative percentage. So those who never attended school, they are 53. Those who attended primary school, they are 40. Those who attended secondary school, they are 59. Those who attended tertiary institution, they are 48. And the total is what? 200. So from here, you can make some insight to say that, oh, so the most common educational qualification is those who did not go to school, never attended. And after never attended, we have more of, okay, sorry, the most common educational qualification is secondary school. I beg your pardon, please. Secondary school is 59. So it has the highest percentage of what? 29.5. Followed by never attended, 26.5. Followed by tertiary, 24.0. And primary is the least, which is 20.0. Only this frequency table can give you an information for you to take a decision about some things you need to do in your area. For those of us who have shops, if you take frequency count of your sales, the one with the highest sale will tell you that, oh, I need to buy more of this into my shop, so that, because it is the one that people buy the most. So you can see that even frequency count is making more sense. Now let's look at gender. Under gender, we have total is 200. The female, we have 104 people, female, and we have 86 male. So this person, from this person's research is showing that, oh, it's like we have more female doing small medium enterprises. Is that, I think that's what our questionnaire is talking about. SMEs, right? Yes. So that means there are more female doing SMEs than male. So it then means that if he's a government official or a politician that wants to support people in the SMEs, that means he's probably going to target more of the female gender, because we have more of them in the SMEs. So that's frequency table in action. I don't know if there's any question about this before we can move to the next thing, or just move forward straight. Do you have any question? Okay, so let's move to the next thing that we have on board. So the next thing I would like us to also look at is the descriptive statistics. Now, that is where our scale of measurement comes in. You can see measure here. As you can see measure here, you can see nominal, you can see this scale here is just giving us scale. This scale is both for ratio and interval. Remember I mentioned the other time that the difference between ratio and interval is not much. So this scale is both for ratio and interval. And ratio and interval is many a time referred to as continuous, like you can keep counting them. You can keep counting them. So now in this situation now, age is the only one that we have as scale here, both ratio and interval, because you can keep counting age. You can keep, and that's why under values we did not code anything there. We did not code anything there because it's a continuous variable. We can continue to count the age, maybe up to 1000 years. Okay, there's no 1000 years. Methuselah is the highest, 969. So let's leave it at that. So now, but others are nominal, 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 nominal. Now, as a statistician or as a data analyst, you can come and change this to ordinal. For example, this performance, how will you rate? I need to see the question very well. Let me expand the how would you rate the performance of your business over the last 3 years? You can decide to change it to ordinal so that there can be an order. So I can come here and order it to show that there's an order. Somebody that gives 1 is very poor. Somebody that gives 2 is poor. Someone that gives 3 maybe is satisfactory or average. Someone that gives 4, that states 4 is good, and someone that states 5 is very good. So that is also that's in the order. So you can see what I'm saying now. As a data analyst, you can decide if a variable is going to be nominal or ordinal depending on the insight you want to derive from the data you collected. And thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for asking that brilliant question, helping us to have an understanding of that aspect. So the data you want to collect and what the insight you want to derive from the data can help you to also even categorize to turn an ordinal, sorry, a ratio or interval data into ordinal. So it all depends on what you want to analyze and what you are looking for. Let me give another example here now. So you can see these sales. Which one can I think of here now? Okay. Let me say let me look at this question. The question will determine. Okay, including yourself. How many workers are there in your business at present? So you can see that this one is telling me that it is nominal. I can change it to ordinal. Why can I change it? Why should I change it to ordinal? Because if you look at what I have here, 1, that's 1 to 10, that's low. 2, 11 to 20, that is increasing. So it's increasing in this situation. So I can go back and now turn the data to what? To ordinal, because there is an order. It's moving from 1 to 2, there's an order. So a data analyst, all you need to be able to do is to be able to explain to those you are presenting to why you make your level of measurement this way. And when it gets to using statistical tool too, you should be able to tell them why you are using this statistical tool. Those of us in marketing, you should be able to predict, tell us why you are using this statistical tool to measure customer satisfaction about the product you are marketing. So all these keys are very, very important in data analysis. So let's quickly move on to do the next descriptive statistics. So why I had to explain that, because if I want to do descriptive statistics, I cannot do descriptive statistics for all this question here, because most of the descriptive statistics has to do with level of measurement of ratio and interval, and that is what? Scale. So now the only one that I can do that for is this age. I can do for age comfortably. So let's go to analyze descriptive statistics, then we'll go to descriptive 2. So click on descriptives. So I'm going to do only for age. For example, now I cannot say I want to find the average gender. That doesn't make sense. Average gender as in how, but I can find the average age. I believe we are getting my point very well now. So those are the issues we're talking about. Then options, you can now come, you want to find the mean, you want to find the sum, do you want to add all the age together? So you can see them here: mean, sum, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, standard error of the mean, variance, range, and so on and so forth. Display order, do you want to display it as in variable list, alphabetic, descending, ascending, and so on and so forth. So now for this particular lesson, or for this particular so let's look at the range. Variance, we use more of standard deviation now over variance. So because of course variance and standard deviation are closely related. I think standard deviation is square root of variance, as we learn in mathematics, but then variance give, I mean, standard deviation give more insight than variance. So we use more of standard deviation than variance in statistical analysis now. They can also find the distribution to find how the data is distributed, and that's how what I explained under parametric and non-parametric. But we don't have to stress ourselves about that. It's not really necessary. We need to do that before doing the analysis so that we'll know how to do our analysis. But we're already in the analysis in this situation. So let me just click continue and see what the output is going to give to me. So continue. Then okay. So now this is the descriptive. So this is the descriptive now. So the question is, how old are you? So the valid, there are 200 respondents, and from what we have here, the range is 52. Remember the meaning of range: highest minus lowest. I can get that from this minimum and maximum. So the minimum is the lowest age and the maximum is the highest age. So when you subtract maximum, when you subtract minimum from maximum, you get the range, and that's why they got the 52 here. Then we also have the mean. Mean is the average. Oh, I didn't include median, and I would have loved to talk about median. Let me check if I'll see median there. I want to include median now. So I'll come to analyze again, descriptive statistic, um, descriptive. Let me see if I'm going to see median options. Oh, I'm not seeing median here. Okay, it's fine anyways. So I'm not seeing median here. Okay, but let's just move on. But I'll still talk about what median stands for. So we can see the range. Like I said, range is maximum minus minimum, and we can see the mean. Mean is the mid, the average of all the ages. Then the standard deviation is 15. So now, as a data analyst, how do you make your client to understand some of these things we are talking about? How do you make your clients to understand some of these things we're talking about? So for the range, like I said, you can see that if you want to discuss range, you are talking about the gap between the person that has the highest and lowest, how wide it is. How do you apply range? I'm going to use oh, I don't want to use a teacher, I don't want to use education. I feel I am using too much of education industry, and I really want to actually diversify into different areas. Anyway, from the research I'm going to give to you, some of you, you tell me if I am wrong using too much of education industry. From the assignment I'm going to tell you, you tell me, you derive, you do analysis to show me that I was wrong using too much of education industry, or am I right? You get to find out from there. So now I still have to use education industry. I'm sorry, please. I can't really think about something else to use now. So as a teacher, if you do a test for your students, and the students the students in the class, we have maybe one scored 70, another one scored 15. The range is very wide. That means the gap between the most brilliant and the weakest student in the class is very wide. It should be a thing of concern for you as a teacher, because it will drop down the average grade in that class. So what do you have to do now? You have to find out why is that happening, and you need to address the situation. If the child is a special need, then we can refer to that as an outlier. The school should be informed and the school should be aware, so that whenever they are taking decision about your performance, when they are doing your what's it called, appraiser, they should put that into consideration, and that's very important. So range can be explained in that line. Then minimum and maximum still fall on that same thing. Then mean is the midpoint from which all the scores spread about. Then the same thing as the standard deviation. The standard deviation is also the point of spreading. So that means if you have the mid score, all other scores are with 15 distance away from the mid score. So that means most of the score are around either plus or minus 43. That is what the standard deviation is talking about. So how far are the scores deviate from the middle score? How distance are they from the middle score? And that's deviation. How far away they are from the middle score. That's the concept of deviation. Please, before I move forward, am I communicating clearly, or is anybody confused from all my explanation before I move forward? Okay, thank you very much. So that means there are no questions, so we can continue to move to the next thing.
Sorry, Mr. Fair.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, can I quickly ask a question, please?
Quickly, please.
Yeah, after the different descriptive analysis that you've done, so what will now inform the insight? Is the insight just going to be somebody looking at the analysis that you have done and now make an insight, or will the software still give you a clue of what the insight will be, or it just something of looking at the result of the analysis and trying to make any informed decision? I don't know if you understand
I
my
get, oh
question.
God, I understand your question clearly. Okay, please, Miss Cynthia, can you log out? Can you leave the meeting and join again? I think that's most likely the reason why you're not seeing the screen. Leave and rejoin. I'm sure you'll be able to see the screen by that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Oluwafemi. Um, there are other tools that can help you take informed decisions. But remember, when we started this lesson, I said as data analyst, critical thinking is very important. And if they are going to give you a role to do, maybe a business want to give you a role to play as a data analyst, the interpretation lies on you. Computer is garbage in, garbage out. Computer cannot reason like you. Even those of us using AI, if there is no human touch, whatever AI brings may not make sense to whoever is consuming it. So whenever you use even AI to do anything, you have to still put human touch, and that will make it look presentable and easy to understand. So yes, even AI can help you to explain it, but human touch is the best. Human touch is the best. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yeah, perfectly, please,
Thank,
perfectly.
thank you
Yeah,
very
thank
much.
you.
You're welcome, sir. So let's quickly move on to some other things that we need to do. So you remember what we are talking about is today is listing and manipulating data. So now, let me see another thing we can do. Okay, let's look at sorting. Sorting. To me, let me not overlook it. Let me not overlook it. Sorting is also very important. Now, um okay, I think when we get to Excel, oh, why am I tempted to talk about Excel now? Can I not talk about Excel now? Okay, sorting is key. You may want to just have an overview of your data, and you can decide to sort. Let's take for example now performance rating. You want to sort all the cases according to how they perform. So you can decide to sort it either descending order or alphabetical order. So how do you do that? Also very simple. All you need to do is you just go to data, go to your top tab, click on data, look for sort cases. So I can see sort cases here. Sorry, data sort cases. I'm sorry, I don't want to leave anybody behind. Miss Cynthia, can you confirm if what you did worked out? Miss Cynthia, are you with us? Can you confirm if you can now see the screen? Okay. I hope okay, thank you very much. So I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it worked out. So now we want to sort the cases. So I want to sort this data according to how according to their performance rating. Now look at this number one case. What I have here under the performance rating is 1, and what I have as a gender is 1, and I think we gave 1 to female. That means a female had 1 and the performance rating had 1. Now after sorting, I'm going to check again if the cases have really been sorted appropriately. So to sort, you come to data, you go to sort cases, then I want to sort according to performance rating. So sort according to performance rating. So you see sort by performance rating. So you decide, is it ascending order or descending order? So maybe you want to be from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. So it all depends on you. You are the data analyst. So you just decide. So save file with sorted data. That's another one. You can decide to say, okay, this sorted data, I want to save it in a different file so that it will not affect what I'm working on. By the way, let me quickly mention this. As a data analyst, whatever you are working on, you must always keep your raw file. Like the roughest file, the dirtiest file, the direct file you got from the field, always keep it somewhere, because you may not know what will happen as time goes on. Just like network can be fluctuating and anything can happen. Some of us complain that our computer crashed, and some of us complain that the system they are using is not functioning well. So but if you have saved your work, your raw file somewhere, it will be easy to access. So let's move on. So performance rating. So I'm sorting in ascending order. I don't, let me not stress myself. I don't want to save it elsewhere, so I'm just going to leave it this way. So I'll click OK. Let's see what happens now. Okay, you can see the output is telling me that case sorted by performance rating. So let me go back to the page and see what happened. You can see now it has been sorted. So you can see all the ones under this performance rating. You can see all the ones coming together because I made it to be what, ascending. All the ones came together. Then let's go. Then these are the twos coming together now. You can see all the twos coming together now. Then the next one, all the threes are now together. So it has been sorted in descending order. So let me change the sorting again to the order, or the order, that's, let me change it to, yes, still this performance. I want to make it descending. I made it ascending the other time, so let me make it descending now. So I'll click OK. So it's telling me now case sorted by performance rating. So let me go back to the view and see. You can see what do we have now. You can see the gender was 1 before, now is now 2, and the rating was 1 before, now is now 2. So that means 3 to 1. Before it was 1 to 3, and now it is what, 3 to 1. So that is one way of sorting your data. Okay, let's look at something else we can do before we give time for question. And I need to explain the assignments too. I will explain the assignment to us so that we can have a good understanding and know how to go about it. Then the next thing is this: you can recode your variable. And how do you record your variable? Let me give an example. Let's say we have transform. Yeah, you come to transform. Yes, you can recode into the same variable. I can recode into different variable. What do I recode? Recoding is like you want to change the data into something different. You can recode, you can compute. I think let me quickly, compute is simpler, so let me quickly do compute. So let me say compute variable. So compute variable quickly. So now I want to compute this variable, like I want to join two variables together to give me something. Take for example, I want to add workers in 2019 to workers in 2010. So I'll just come here and put target variable total workers. You can see my target variable as what? Total workers. I hope you're all seeing it. Please let me, give me a signal. Let me be sure you are still seeing what I'm doing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now what I'm now going to do is total workers, like I want to combine number of workers in 2019 to number of workers in 2020. So I'm going to say total worker. I can decide to put, I can decide to say 1920. Take note of something. If you are writing the name of variables, you must not put space bar. It has to be underscore. If you put space bar, it's going to reject it. So to link them, it has to be underscore. So total workers 1920. So how am I going to compute them? Numerical expression. I'll just click workers in 2019 plus workers in 2020. So click 2020 and put in here. Then I'll click OK. Once I click OK, it will create a new variable for me called total workers 1920, and it will add the workers in 2019 to workers in 2020. So let me click it to see what will happen. OK. So it has told me that it has compute total workers. So it has executed. So let's check out to see. Can you see now? We have total workers 1920. You can see total worker 1920. So it has added the value for 2019 to 2020. So let's look at this. In 2019 it was 1, in 2020 it was 5. Total worker is now what? 6. So it has computed it. So that is computing variable. So you can compute different variable. For example, now those of us in business, let's say for example you bought you collected data for quantity and price. You can compute total cost by multiplying the quantity by the price. You can do that. Every spreadsheet can do that for you. So you can see that what we are doing now, by the time we get to Excel, it will be very easy for us because you already have background knowledge of spreadsheets, and some of the things will be so familiar when I start to explain Excel to us. So now let's move to what was it I wanted to talk about before? Recoding into variables. So let's see how this one works. Okay, let's work with recoding into different variable first. Let's work with recoding into different variable first. So um let's say you have age. Let me see how we can go about this. How do you recode? um Let me start with um okay, let's do it this way. Say for example you want to recode um performance rating. See this performance rating. Let me see. Performance rating under variable view. Hold on please. Performance rating is okay for this total work 2019. It doesn't have a label yet, so you can come and add your label later. So let me see. Performance rating uh is okay. This is not performance rating. Where is my performance rating? Okay, this performance rating. So this performance rating is 1 2 3 4 5. Now you can now recode it to make it just 1 2 1 2 3, such that you want all the very poor and poor to be 1, neither poor nor good to be 1, then good and very good, you want to bring them together. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Can somebody signal to me if you got what I'm trying to say? Instead of having 5, you want to turn it to just 3. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. That's a good one. So instead of having 5, um instead of having 1 2 3 4 5, you want to turn it to just 3. So you can say all the very poor and poor 1, all the ones that are neither good nor 1, then all the far. So you can leave it that way. So now let's go back to see how we can do the recoding. So you come to transform, then you click recode into different variables. After recoding into different variable, so variable to recode, where's the variable? Let's set the variable that we want to recode. We want to recode performance rating. So you click on performance rating. That's the variable you want to record. Now we are now going to assign a new variable name. So let's assign a new variable name. So let's call it performance rating name. Sorry, group. Remember, there should be no space in the variable name. Performance rating underscore group. So I'm grouping all the performance rating. Then I'll come here, I'll put the label groups, still leave it at performance rating group. I'll leave it at that. Then the old and new value. So to put the old numeric variable, then the output value. Let me see how we can sort this here. Okay, yes, old and new value. We'll click on old and new value. So the old value, we'll put it as 1, and the new value, we'll put it as 2. And what is that trying to say? Old value, very poor, is 1. So the new value I'm giving now is also 1, which is still going to be what? Very poor. So I'm going to add. Then I'll come again. Old value 2. New value should now still be what? 1. So I'm going to add it. So it simply means the old 1 and 2, I'm bringing them together to just form 1. I am recoding. Then old value 3, new value 2. So I'm turning the new value to be just what? To be 3 should just be neither good nor poor. Then come again, old value 4, new value 3. Then the last one, old value 5, new value 3. Then you add it. Then you click continue. Then you come here to click okay, here I'm coming, change. I've clicked change, then I'll click OK. So it has executed it. See, let's look at what it says here. Performance rating 1 equals to 1, 2 equals to 1, 3 equals to 2, 4 equals to 3, 5 equals to 3 into performance rating group, variable label. So now let's look at the variable and see what happens. Can you see now? Performance rating group. So wherever we have performance rating, when it was 3, it has turned into 2. 3 2. So you can see, okay, anyway, since it's already in descending order, so it's done it for us. So that is one way you do what we call transforming, computing, recoding, and computing. So that is one way. Let me quickly touch on graph quickly. Graph is very simple, so it's easy for us to quickly get. Before I now go to explain the what's it called, the assignment that I'm going to give to us. So this is the graph. You can come to legacy dialog. You can see bar graph, line graph, area. So I think I will give us some notes on the type of graph we can use for different things, because the type of variable you are using will also help you to determine the type of graph you are going to use, and that's very key too. So let's say, for example, now let's use pie chart for male and female. So pie chart, summary for group cases, summarize for reps. So we are doing group define, group cases that we want to do. So let's do for gender. The variable is gender. Okay, defined by, okay, let's do for gender. So let's see what it's going to give to us. Okay, where is it now? Where is the output? Okay, let me go back quickly. Okay, it's loading. Sorry, it's loading. So this is it. So after this, you can still edit further. You can edit it as you like, style output, you can export it, create, edit. So you can just choose any graph of your choice, and instead of going through that, okay, some graph are even easy to access from this toolbar. So that is that, is that easy for us to understand. Okay, I think so far so good, is fair enough. Some of the things we have discussed tonight is fair enough. I can easily go and explain our assignment to us. Before I do that, do we have any question or any area of clarification before we can go and do explain the assignments?
Yes, sir. I have an area of clarification.
Very good. Go on.
Sir, in that column section, sir, where did you actually go to in the ribbon section to to actually get it to actually sum both of them together
That's
under the total workers for 2019 2020.
okay. That's transform, right? Or
Yes,
compute. Yeah, so this is it. Under transform, you go to compute. Can you see compute now? Are you seeing what I'm doing?
yes, sir.
Good. So under transform, you go to compute, then you label it here. You can see target variable. I label it, right? Then,
Yes,
okay, let me just do it again so that you're going to see exactly what I did. So this is it now. So this is what is going to bring for me. It brought this for me. Then I'll come here, I'll label it. I'll label it as total. Or let me just do something different. What can I let me just manipulate and do something different. Okay, let me say sales percentage. Let me just bring sales percentage and profit trend together. It doesn't make sense statistically, but because I need to explain this concept, let me just do it for you to understand it. Is that acceptable?
yes, sir.
Okay, so let me call it. Okay, so performance trend. That's what I'm going to call it. Performance underscore trend. So what I'm going to do is I want to add performance rating and profit trend together. So I'll click on performance rating. I'll now click and I'll click here this arrow to bring it into the numerical expression. Click the arrow. Then I'll now click plus. That is, I want to add the two of them. Then I'll now click
Okay,
profit trend. I'll click it again. And that's all. Then I'll click OK. So if I click OK now, it
okay,
will bring
sir.
them together. So if you go through the slide, you see it here now. Variable view. You can see performance rating. You can see it here now, right? So performance
Yes,
trend.
sir.
Then if you go to data view, you're also going to see it here, performance trend. So it has added both of them together. So this performance rating was 3 and the trend was 1. So 3 plus 1 give you what? 4. The same thing happened downward. So that
Oh,
is it.
okay. That means, sir, from there you can actually find you can actually subtract and maybe find
You
percentages
can
if you
do
want to.
any kind of calculation that, in fact, Excel has what to call inbuilt. People are complaining that they are tired. Okay, I understand. Yes, attention span is has dropped. We are done with the class. I'm just doing question and answer. So I'm going to explain the assignments now. So you can do any form of computation there. Any form of computation there. Is that okay? I hope it's clear now.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. So let me explain our assignment to us. I understand we are tired. Attention span has dropped. So this is how our assignment is going to look like. Okay. I'll give us this file. Where is my SPSS? So this is the SPSS tax questionnaire and data, then SPSS task. So this is the two file I'm going to give to Ross. I'm opening it quickly. Good. So this is the questionnaire. This is the questionnaire you actually used. The questionnaire I gave to you that you filled. So we are using your data as analysis. That's want to analyze the data you gave us. So you can see that is a real life practical we are doing. We are doing real life practical. And that's what I promised those of us who are participating in this training. So one, candidate name. Sorry, candidate's number. You can leave that as continuous variable. So leave that as just ordinary number. Then gender, you code your gender. Anyhow you want to code it, you decide. Male, female, prefer not to say. Age, you also code your age. Anyhow you want to code it is your choice. Then occupation, you code the occupation, teacher, educator, school leader, student, freelancer, corporate, you code it. How did you hear about us? You code that. Everybody can choose any code they want. What specific skill or topics are you most interested in? You can leave this as strings and you can still code it. Yes, it's your choice. But I would suggest you code it because I want it to be simple for you. So just code it. Why are you taking this training? You also code that. What devices will you use? Code it. Do you prefer code it? Then on a scale of 1 to 5, you also code that too. So there are 10 questions. And these are the data you are going to impute for the 10 question. So you come here, you check your coding. For example, candidate 1, Candidate ID, you input, that means the person filled 1 year. Then gender, you decide, are you using male or female for gender? Are you using male for 1 or 2 for female, as the case may be? Age group, what code is this? Teacher education. So you insert them in your data. Sorry, in the SPSS, just like I did when I started by putting the values one after the other. Then you do that for 32 cases. Just 32 cases. You do that for just 32 cases. Like I said, I'll be on ground to support as many people as possible in the course of the week. Um, if you call me on Christmas Day, that means you want to come to give me Christmas chicken. I'll still support you anyways, but make sure that you don't call me empty-handed on Christmas Day. Okay, that's just on a lighter note. Then, what you after imputing all this data in your SPSS, you now come to the real question. So these are the real questions you are going to answer. Task 2. You are provided with a questionnaire and the responses. Code the questionnaire and impute the data into SPSS. Attempt the following question. Questions 1. Listing and exploring data. List all the unique occupation represented in the data set. This one, all you need to do is just frequency count. Count the number of participants in this group, frequency count. Identify the most common reason for taking the training. You do frequency count to take that. Then data editing. This situation, you are creating a new column to categorize the participants' confidence level into low, medium, and high based on their confidence score. So in this situation, you are recoding. What you are doing is what? Recoding. And I did that previously. You can also watch YouTube videos to gain insight and understand some of these things. Then you have to standardize devices response. For example, laptop, replace a laptop PC with laptop. That is to say, since a laptop piece and or slash PC is coming in, just leave it as only laptop. So you can edit that. That's an editing. You can edit that in your coding, as the case may be. Then data manipulation, filter the data, like sorting is same thing as filter. Then determine how many participants prefer both live and recorded. You can use frequency count for this too. Group the data by occupation and calculate the average confidence score for each group. So you can use mean, median, and mode. Just I think average is the mean anyway. Measures of central tendency. Come calculate the mean, median, and mode for participants' confidence scores. Identify the most common device used for the training. So you can use frequency count all through. Then you do your graph, measure of central data sets, but then you take actionable insight. Just read through any one